Focusing on the lives, experiences, and viewpoints of motherlode women, the show features a rotating cast of 4 women of all ages and from all walks of life. Quick, upbeat, and fast-paced with a variety of topics, this 1-hour show will be aired live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Tune in, it's just between us.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to Just Between Us, a woman's show that we hope to impart some information that you might find interesting. And I'm Sandy from Jackson.
I'm Pat from Sutter Creek.
I'm Kathy from Buena Vista.
And we're going to go right into our first 2 topics. So pick a couple topics out and Kathy, roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Yep. Whoa, there you go. 5.
Okay, 5. Do you remember when couples danced slow, had romantic evenings, women didn't tell dirty jokes, and heaven forbid if you use swear words? Okay,
And the second one
the
is?
second one is a free-for-all.
Free-for-all.
So,
Okay, we'll be coming right back to you, and we're going to break for a commercial right now and pay our bills.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
And we're back, and we're going to go right into our first topic.
okay, and it's, do you remember when couples danced slow, had romantic evenings, women didn't tell dirty jokes, and heaven forbid if you use swear words? Well, I remember in the far, far distant
A long, long time ago in a far, far,
when dinosaurs walked the earth.
yeah, we rub fists together to get fire, yeah. I remember my parents, you know, they danced, and I don't know about the swear words, but, you know, back in the 60s, that's why I love watching the old shows when they showed the clothing of the 60s and stuff, and it's back.
It is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's some of the world that I live in. I live in several different cultures, I guess, because of, anyway, there are cultures that I live in that's still there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you know,
Yeah.
so it just depends.
But back in that far, far distant past,
Yeah.
I think there was more civility. You know,
Right.
where people were more polite, more courteous.
Yes.
Men stood up when you went and came to a tape left,
That's
and
true.
you know,
Yeah.
now you know you're lucky to get open car doors. Yes. You know, I get this. You're just a wife. Who cares? I mean, it was a different era. It was the Eisenhower era that I remember. You know, and it was just.
Do you think it was the women back to work, or when the women went out of the house that changed?
Everything changed. From what I've read, everything changed because women during World War II went out and worked,
Right.
and they found out
Rosie.
that there was a world outside of a housewife. And when men came back, because there was just millions of men coming back, and women had to go back into they resented it.
Yeah.
And they had to go back into that housewife things. And you notice shortly thereafter, the little pills for, nervousness and everything were invented for women.
Good point.
Well, and the thing that I remember, because I had brothers who were younger than I was, and both of them were single at the time, when all of it started happening, and it was in the late 70s, 80s when it really took effect. And it was very interesting because I think women they wanted to demand to be equal, but they kind of went to the other side to impart their desires.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember one of my brothers he was single at the time, and he called me up and he says, I am so confused with women. And I said, well, don't think it's going to end. You will
That's a
stay
good response.
confused until forever. And he said, I went out on a date one week, and I went and I held the door open for the woman, and she got in, and she stopped at the car, and she says, what do you think you're doing? I'm perfectly capable of doing this. Get in the car. And he said, that was the first and only date. So the next week, he takes out another woman, and he's going, okay, because he's in his 20s, mid-20s, and he said, okay, this is the way we do. So he walked around and got in the car, and he looked, and there's nobody in the car. And he looks, and she's standing outside. So he opened the window, and he said, is there a problem? She says, I'm not getting in until you open the door for me. So he said, I'm really confused about this because he said, one, I got, lambasted because I opened the door, and the other one was irritated because I didn't open the door, and this all took place within, a week and a half. And he said, so I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. And I said, well, most men would just say, welcome to the world.
That's a good answer.
But I think that it's kind of sad in a way because not that it's not right that women are treated equally, I do believe that the disparity of income and things like that, but when they're talking about this kind of thing, it goes back to a kinder, gentler time, and where there was a different feeling between men and women, not as you date, but just everybody, and I think that's kind of sad.
I think it goes back to respect.
Yeah,
How you
it
treat
is.
someone, in the social norms. Because I think if I don't expect a man in this day and age to open a door for me.
Right.
When they do, I'm kind of like, oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I like it. But
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I need people to open doors for me because I've gotten weaker. But so I kind of really appreciate it. I really, when I'm out and I watch young people, the young males or even young females out there now, and see how they still do things. If there's, you can tell the ones who've been kind of drilled into them from childhood to you be polite, to say excuse me or thank you and that stuff, and then you see the ones who are just kind of, in my opinion, have had no direction whatsoever. And you kind of worry about, these are the kids that are going to be taking care of us when we're in our 80s, and I'm sitting there
Getting
going,
closer.
oh, God, I'm not too sure about this. Where's the world heading to,
Well, it's like if you look at the difference between how we parented in our generation, my kids, because they're in their 40s, are parenting with what we taught them. The ones I worry about are the new parents, because it seems like somehow that logic and demanding for children to have the respect of people and saying please and thank you, that seems like it's going by the wayside. It's kind of like,
And I have to remind my grandkids. I was just with my grandkids the last 2 days, and just, and they'll do it. And they're like, oh, okay, Grandma. But it's like, it's just that.
Oh, my boys and their wives drill that in. I mean, you never hear somebody please and thank you. It's like, they're so polite. And I said, yeah, they have.
It was so, we have two family members. One has 7
It's about
kids.
time to go.
Bumper.
Yeah, one has 7 kids. They're the most politest in the world, and the other one had 4 kids. And he just wanted to lock them away, And we're going to go on to our next topic, which is a free topic. And you can start it, Kathy.
Oh, okay. And what we had talked about was scams.
Scams, yes. I
Scams.
saw that this morning. There is a new IRS scam out there where people are getting telephone calls, mainly towards the elderly or the immigrant, okay? And they're getting phone calls purportedly from the IRS, and they even have a email scam where if you email back, it goes to it's really quite nasty. And what they're doing is they say you owe the government so much money. If you give us your debit card number, we'll deduct it right now from you, and you don't have to fill out your tax forms and all this other stuff. Yes, and people are falling for it. And so I went online to see how many scams there are out there, and I went onto the FBI website for telephone scams and other scams, which I recommend everybody to go on to. It's extremely interesting. The list is this long online,
And you go
and it goes
FBI?
from the FBI into the FBI, and it's I just typed in telephone scams,
Okay.
and it came out. I go through Google,
Okay.
and it came back to an FBI website address, and that's the one I went into, and it's about scams, and there's telephone, mail, all kinds of, and they break it down, and they give descriptions of how all these scams works. And I think everybody, really, especially the elderly, because when I worked LAPD, we would get phone calls from the elderly all the time saying, I think, we got, and I would have to route them to the particular, where they would go. But they're more vulnerable because they're lonely, and two, they believe the person on the other
Yes,
end.
yes.
And
go back to that. They're taught to be respectful and polite.
Yes.
Yes.
and so I
That
think
part of my teaching didn't work. I don't trust anybody.
I know. Well, just yesterday I had a phone call purportedly from my insurance carrier wanting to clarify something on one of my insurance number. For my medical insurance. I go, can I have a callback number, please, and your name? And I called back. Even with an insurance number, once you get the insurance number, they can get into your Social Security
sure.
number.
Oh, wow.
It's all linked to that.
Yeah, it's all linked. So be very, very careful, everybody. And we were also talking about, what was it that you had mentioned? Something,
I can't even remember.
it was telephones. It was,
It was a telephone
telephone
scam.
scam.
And I did get a call from, the guy said, I'm from Microsoft, and I'm calling about your Windows 8 program. Well, Microsoft doesn't call you.
no, they usually just send you something
No.
online.
They email you.
Now, of course, if you can't open your email, you might be in problem. but-
Usually I would just say, it's fine. And
I just said, thanks for calling, bye, and I hung
see,
up,
and if I had had a call like that, I wouldn't even ask for a callback number. I would say, I will take care of this later. I will hang up. And then I go and get the information off of my policy or whatever to call back.
Well, yeah. Now, if you get a call regarding your credit card, and the credit card people sometimes call me
Yeah,
because
they
I
do.
have what I've done with my credit cards, and I suggest maybe somebody if I make you can put in an amount in. If you charge more than that, they either will email you going, did you just charge this amount of money? Because you set it a limit. If it goes over that limit, you're to be notified, and that my credit card will send me an email from the company going, okay, was this yours? If it's not, give us a call immediately. And because of identity theft is
Right.
so prevalent
Yeah.
now.
Well-
It really that scares me the most. Is identity theft.
The other thing we were talking about was, I had a police officer tell me that the second highest crime in Amador County is mail theft. It's for your credit
Well, look
card
at how many
information.
mailboxes you see battered all over this place.
Yeah, and that's why I went to a post office box, because ours got bashed,
Well, even if we have a lockbox, they've been being broke into, and we have to pick 2 more topics.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, all right.
Draw. and
Draw.
Okay.
Whoops, here we go.
Oops. All right.
There you go, Pat.
All right.
Yeah.
The first one, secrets and promises.
Secrets and promises.
Okay.
5.
Number 5, do you feel that someone tells you that they will keep your secret or that once someone tells you that they will keep your secret or breaks a promise to you, they do so to hurt you because they are mad or jealous of you?
Okay.
And the second one, roll the dice again, the die. Number 6, caring. Does caring for someone come natural, or is it something that we are taught by watching our parents and others? How apropos.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting
Well,
one.
we're going to break for a commercial, and we'll be right back with our next 2 topics.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
We're back, and we're going to go right into our next topic.
Okay, first in caring. Or did I do? Yes. Oh, okay. Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Does caring for someone come natural, or is it something that we are taught by watching our parents and others?
I think it's a natural response because it's self-defense. It's survival. If someone doesn't care for you, or you don't care, as a child or an infant, you die.
Well, you heard there's some things that some people have, women especially, have natural maternal
Right, the
instinct.
nurturing, yeah.
No, I never had kids, which is explained. I like dogs and cats, okay. I'm very nurturing to them.
Yeah.
But I'm terrified of actually children. I've never been around them.
Oh my.
So
Yeah.
they move and they can break. I don't hold newborns. I absolutely refuse because they squirm and I'm going, I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it. I know I'm going to break it. But, I'm really not, but I think caring for people themselves, I think it actually comes, because I know some people that work in hospice. That it's very hard to do, but they just naturally can
Excuse me.
go into that.
There
that
are-
field, like the women, like people who go into nursing.
Right.
That you have to have that inner something, and I don't know if that comes from observation
I think
if
it's
that's
natural. I think it comes from, just like if someone is athletic or not, or musical or whatever. I think it's actually inborn in a lot of people, that nurturing, caring. I want to hug. I love babies. It's like, man, to me, peace is a sleeping baby on my chest.
Really?
Oh my gosh, that is the biggest feeling of peace for me
I like
in
a
the world.
purr of a kitty cat.
Now, see, I think it's a combination because, for
a good
instance,
point, yeah.
okay, I was an only child for 7 years, and then I had 2 little brothers. I liked my brothers. I never particularly cared for anyone else's children. When I got married, our kids were, I loved being a mom. I was never in a babysitting co-op. I never wanted to take care of anybody else's kids. I didn't care about anybody else's children. So I think it's nature and nurture where, and my boys have told me, and I love my grandchildren, but I don't care about anybody else's grandchildren too much. It's not like I don't hate them, but it's like I'm not interested in babies or children per se. I was interested in my babies who became my children, and I was interested in their children, my grandchildren. But I'm not interested pretty much in anybody else's kids or grandkids or anything like that. So I think it's kind of a both. And I do believe that you learn to take care of people by watching your parents, and then also if you study people and watch, it's like I could tell exactly how my husband was parented when I met him, and I basically had to teach him that I didn't think it was the best way, but it was a hard thing for him to learn because this is how he was parented. And it's interesting because with his grandchildren, he's kind of making up for what he didn't even do with his own kids because now he sees, and it's very interesting. So I think it's a combination. I think everybody has it somewhat. There's some people who are really good caregivers.
Absolutely.
And I came from a medical family, so
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and I think that makes a difference. But I think it's in there somewhere, but it has to be drawn out. And if you never really have people teach you how to take care of somebody, then it's in there, but it has to be brought out by example and things like that for a lot of people.
Even pets, though. Have you ever noticed how sometimes pets will take care of other pets?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I had a dog that adopted a cat.
Yeah.
And just took care of the cat
Right.
and stuff like that. And I've had a male cat, although I found him he was kind of anyway. He would take care of the kitten that we brought home, and he just nurtured it and everything. And he was.
And then you have animals that want to eat any other
Oh
animals.
yeah,
It's like,
they're
okay.
very jealous. Yeah.
And you
it's-
have people who really are not interested in dealing with
Exactly.
people at all.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
then you have your kids that say, when you get old, we're putting you in a home. You know?
That's scary to me. It's like,
Hey.
okay, what home is it? Can I choose the home?
Yeah.
And then you say to those children, it's like good to let you know, I have time to change the will.
Yeah,
Exactly. I like that one, too.
yeah. You don't care it till you're 75, You get nothing.
I hope you're
Not
good.
until I'm gone.
By the way, it's all going to my charity, But it's, you know what it is? I actually think people don't make time now to take care of people as they used to. It was more of a family unit, And now it's literally let's put them in a retirement home and let's go on with our life. And it's time for our second topic.
Okay, secrets
fun.
and promises. Do you feel that once someone tells you that they will keep your secret or breaks a promise to you, they do so to hurt you because they are mad or jealous of you?
The first part of that, read that again. I'm not quite getting
it
that
said,
one.
do you feel that I think it's once someone tells you that they will keep your secret or breaks a promise to you, they do so to hurt you because they are mad or jealous of you. And sometimes I think people just don't keep secrets, or
They don't, they just blab.
They
They get in the moment of conversation
And
they blab it out,
And
yeah.
sometimes they don't even think about it until after they say it, and then it's suddenly like, ooh, that was, supposed to be a
And
secret.
the other thing is that I think that there are probably cases of when somebody says don't tell someone, and someone should be told for the sake of the safety of the person.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
there are
yeah.
secrets.
And then are those people mad or jealous of you? Absolutely not. It's because they care about you.
It's like if you have an elderly relative and don't tell
Yeah.
their son or
Right.
daughter
Mother, yeah.
that something happened. It's and you got to, because it's a symptom of
Right.
something that's going on. Either they're getting dementia or Alzheimer's, or they can hurt. They might just getting into the point where they're getting too old to be by themselves, and it's an embarrassing situation for them, and I understand that. I've actually had that happen. Don't tell my husband, because I used to have my mother-in-law living on the property with us, and she, don't tell Gary.
yeah.
Well, I had to, because
Yeah.
it's a symptomatic problem we had, and it was at the time where it's time that you have a caregiver come in.
Yeah.
They fought it,
Yeah.
and then once they got it, they liked it because they had somebody to yak with,
Yeah.
But you have to, you're right, you have to sometimes tell
Yeah.
the secret.
But I think that there's another side to that too. I think there are times if people are angry with you
Oh,
or
yeah.
jealous of you, they will, say something or break a promise or tell a secret.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that happens too. But that's not simple. What do I want to say? That's not atypical, or it's sometimes it happens. Sometimes it depends. I like the other part too. You do it
Yeah.
because you care.
Well,
not just
but I
because-
think a lot of times, I think most secrets gets revealed because you're right. They're in a conversation, and they just, it's a topic that's very close to what the secret that they have, and you just blab it.
Exactly. You can't.
just-
And then there's
just-
like, oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then there are people who think it's power.
It is power.
It's
it
like,
can
look
be power. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like when everybody's saying, "What do you think?" Well, I know.
I know the look.
Well, it's like
Just wait till I tell you. You hear this.
it's like where I worked. If something was said in the chief's office, it was known down on the first floor within 15 minutes. The place looked like a sieve. You could not have secrets in that place. And whenever we saw a trial and the defense attorney says, "Well, it was a big secret," we were all going,
Oh yeah.
"How?" Heck, we know everybody knows what's going on in this department. It's 10,000 people, and everybody knows. It's just, but it was just ridiculous. I mean, some people say, "Don't tell anybody," and they actually want
you to. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's and they would pick the person they know that's going to blab. Because you're right, there are some people who just can't hold secrets.
Yeah. There's.
Yeah. I had somebody that I knew years ago, and she says, "Don't say that I said it," but
Go ahead and tell it.
yeah. And she would always do this. Don't spread it around.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, we just spread it all over here.
I know. My neighborhood was, everybody knew everybody else's business because the kids would blab.
Oh yeah.
Because we would know not to tell the deep dark family secrets. You're not going to believe what I caught my mommy and daddy doing.
This is fun. Yeah. Oh dear.
So
I know. It's kind of interesting what human nature is wonderful.
The one that got me. Are we ready to go to another
yeah,
topic?
we got a couple minutes.
Oh, okay. I was in Supai in the Grand Canyon doing a project, And on the way out, they helicoptered out. Somebody came up to me and gave me a or a UPS package and said, "Take this to Kingman and mail it for me, would you?" And I said, "Okay." So my friend and I were driving down. We stopped at Peach Springs, which is halfway between Supai and Kingman. And somebody comes up to us in the car and says, "Do you have a UPS package to mail out?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
It starts like a movie from, you know.
Well, I'm not supposed to get it. I'm like, okay. We gave it to him. I don't know if we were supposed to or not. I never knew the end of the story.
We got to pick our last two topics, and one's a free-for-all.
One was a free-for-all and roll the die.
Okie dokie.
Okay,
Whoops,
giving
3.
to others, number 3. Do you find it true it is better to give than receive?
Oh, well, okay. Well, we're going to go for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Okay.
And we're back, and let's do our topic.
Okay, first is the topic, giving to others. Do you find it true it is better to give than receive?
Look at that look, Sandy.
Well, you know, I like buying gifts for people, but I really don't expect to get anything back, and because I don't know what I want. Honestly, I mean, what do I need? I got stuff I got to go through my crawl spaces to get rid of. I mean, although sometimes I used to buy for my mother-in-law because I knew when she died I'd get it back, and I did. Hey, that's the way I look at it.
I think it depends on the recipient of you give them a gift and how it's the reaction.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. It depends on the person if they get a lot of joy out of, or a little child that you give something to and they're just so excited
kid,
about it.
yeah,
Oh my God.
kids, yeah.
That gives me so much fun.
Well,
Yeah.
our friends have a small granddaughter, and it was her 5th birthday. I don't know what to get kids, or for Christmas time. At Christmas, I gave her a baby doll, not knowing. I found out when she got the baby, she loved it. She's a girly girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this time, I hear she likes pink and princessy. So I found something that was pink and princessy.
princessy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of fun. But when I don't know, like I have not a clue what to get to my husband. Absolutely. If I buy him a tool, it's something he either does need but thinks it's way too expensive and takes it back and rather have the money, or I don't know what to get him.
You know what I gave my husband one year for his birthday, loved it, was I rented a bulldozer. He had a ball.
We're on a slant, so
Oh,
I can just see my husband
because-
tumbling down
yeah.
the hill with a dozer.
When we did the subdivision, we had a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I have never seen Ted so attached emotionally to something.
Was he going out and petting it?
Just about. Well, it's, when he came up here, somebody said to him, one of the guys said to him, "He who dies with the most tools wins."
Boy, that is a man. That is a man.
I know.
That is
But
a man.
one of
Yeah.
the things I find is that I kind of think of when you give something to somebody, you give it and you actually get something back, not when they give you a present, but just
Yeah.
by if they've used it, if they used it, if they liked it, and things like that. And I gave each of our sons something for their birthday, and one of them just had a birthday. I took I had saved all of their school stuff, and both of them had been in the newspaper in the Bay Area and things like that for things that they did, and I put a big album together.
Oh, that's
Oh, that
cool.
sounds nice.
That
Birth
is really cool.
to now.
Yeah.
And that of our pictures that we had, and because one of the things is, and I did it as much for their children as them, and I found it very interesting because the older son just got his a number of weeks ago, and I sat there and he took the time right during the present opening to go through the entire book.
They brought back memories.
Oh, yeah,
and they're probably
That's
at the age
that's a
where they
neat thing.
appreciate the memories now.
Oh, yeah.
It's when, when a kid is in their teenage years, they could
Right.
care,
Right.
but it's when you become, you see that little number is getting closer and closer, the final number, and
Because I mean, my sons are both in their 40s, and so it was, it was
Yeah.
very interesting, the kids were very interested too. My grandchildren, and both, and they would look at, because when I see them, they always want stories of their dad.
Are they
What-
teenagers now, or?
I have one teenager and one preteen and one in grade school, and then I have two that are going to be 4 and 7. So, so I mean, they were interested because they thought, because they're a little bit, the older kids, they'll what did Dad do? What did Dad do when he was our age?
Yeah.
And so, and it was very interesting. So it was a gift that I gave to them, and then I had such joy watching them respond. And the younger one, I did it for his 40th birthday, and he lives in Portland, and all of his friends, they had a big party, and all of his friends were looking at the book and talking to me about it, and I mean, and most of them did not know him when he was growing up, because he grew up in the Bay Area, but it was very interesting. So that was a gift that it gave as much to me, if not more, than it even did to them.
I
someone-
could see something like
I think
that.
when you give, and I just think when you give something to somebody and they say, I can't believe this is really just what I wanted.
Well, not to mention that your personal time and effort to do all this.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you had to go through boxes, obviously.
Right, it took time.
This.
And my sons were probably, doubly impressed because I quit giving them presents and started giving them money a long time ago.
Well,
Then on
it's
Christmas
so much
morning, they said,
easier.
I don't want this. Could you just write me a check and take this back?
It's,
Yeah, that's not
That was
good.
in their early 20s.
well, I have remember my stepdaughters. I send her money for her Christmas and birthday. She never cashes the checks, ever.
Oh, really?
I just keep them, in the, and then I write them back into the checkbook a year later.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's just. I go, that's fine. Don't take money from us. I don't care.
Well, I
make the effort.
I have a 15 and a 14-year-old grandson that their parents were working this week, and so it was vacation, and so they'd be home. And I thought, I think I'll take them down to the aquarium. They'd been there a long time ago. Well, my other sons found out, so we all went. There were 12 of us.
That was nice. And now we're going to go for a free
The
for
free for all.
Okay.
And shall we discuss the plethora of news reports on the plane?
It's like, it's going on for 2 weeks now, and they say absolutely nothing.
Well, I find it interesting. Have you noticed all the different politicians that are on television, in news conferences, talking about this? I mean, yesterday I saw Chris Christie.
What does New Jersey have to do with this? Good Lord.
But it's an election year, I mean, and I'm thinking,
Okay.
really? I can understand our president. I'm not sure who else I can understand. Well, John Kerry, because he's
We have
Serious thing.
three Americans on the plane, right? Is this basically this China I can understand, Malaysia I can
Right,
understand, and
yeah.
some of the other countries I can handle. There's two things about this plane. It's either at the bottom of the Indian Ocean or it's landed somewhere and it's being changed to
Something else.
To something else,
Yeah.
and that's it. Until you find either the wreckage or you find the plane on the ground.
Let's not interrupt.
I know. It's bad enough we got basketball interrupting everything right now. No offense to people who like basketball, but I'm getting tired of it. I can't stand the ball. And I can't stand the of the shoes on the courts. So let's why do we interrupt primetime TV?
But I mean, the thing about the plane thing is that, I mean, like a couple of, it's been how many? It's been almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, I happened to turn on the TV to see what was recorded or whatever, and it's like another press conference. To talk, and so this is what Chris Christie is he says, he says, we have to get to the bottom of this, and so people can get answers. And it's like, I think about 14 other people said this yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. Who are these people listening to? You know, I mean,
But I'm wondering what happened to the plane. I
It's
mean,
either,
I fly.
it's
I mean,
either,
I fly.
it's either crashed. Some
Right.
talking heads said it was suicide by the pilot, which is possible. You know, one pilot
Right.
could overwhelm the other pilot and decide,
yeah.
you
Would have been
know,
nice if you could just.
you
Well,
know,
did
or
you
it's
see where
landed.
he had that flight simulator in his house? Did you
Well,
see
that's
that?
not
It says that's
unusual.
what-
It's not
No,
unusual
that's
for
not unusual.
that's not unusual for pilots to. And it wasn't a flight simulator. It was a computer generated thing that you do, like you can do.
like a
Anybody,
game.
The games, yeah. That it's
Okay.
but more sophisticated.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a simulator, which is those big things that.
Because I thought when I saw that it was the actual simulator,
No,
but
no,
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 it
no, it's
was.
just
I was
a
like, whoa. Okay,
over
the model type thing.
computer thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I actually heard somebody
Yeah.
who got really pissed off at somebody saying the word simulator. It wasn't a simulator. She says it was a
Okay.
computer generated.
Simulator.
It was a simulator.
No, it was.
Just not a
It-
full-blown simulator.
It was.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a thing. Like I had relatives that want to learn to be a pilot. You get this program, you put it on your computer, and it teaches you more or less how to fly into different scenarios and things like that. That's similar, but a little bit more on the dramatic. And that's what he had. And it's not unusual for pilots to keep themselves trained.
I'm wondering because the thing that bothers me is, okay, was it shot down? You know, I don't know.
No one spotted a fireball.
But you would think with our advanced satellite systems,
It's
this is what, and they said they
it's
had
our
that pinging.
Okay,
you know?
it's our satellite system. From what I understand, in that region,
Mm-hmm.
their tracking ability is not as sophisticated as we have here in the States. I did find one thing interesting that I heard yesterday was that if an international flight goes down, the surviving members of the people who went down are guaranteed $175,000.
Oh, so you think it could be like a
Who knows?
kidnapping or hijacking or something like that? I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah,
if it
I mean,
was
we
a
don't.
kidnapping, there's been no ransom, and usually you would ransom off the passengers.
Well, I'm just thinking of that would be a way. I don't know.
It could be. It could have been murder
for the money.
It could have been
Exactly.
murder. It could have been murder for the money. That has been known to happen. You know, people. We don't know. We don't. I have not heard what was in the cargo hold. I mean, was there certain equipment in that cargo hold that was going into China?
Good point, because there has to be a manifest somewhere.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they've ever published the manifest. I haven't seen it, and it's just two things: the plane's either on the ground
Or in the ocean.
or in the ocean.
Yes.
Just
That's pretty much what they decided when it
yeah, like
disappeared.
on day one, and now they're looking for debris off of the
Indian Ocean, isn't
And I also heard that it's a very violent ocean over there.
I heard that too.
In
Roaring
that southern
40s,
ocean,
they're calling it.
and that there's a lot of stuff that get washed out into that thing and kind of mashed together and makes a big
Well,
debris
didn't
field.
they find a big, like 75
Break.
foot break?
Not break. Go on to the next topic, which is.
That was it.
That was it? Oh, okay. I guess we do break.
Whether
Worry here. Okay, we're going to go to a commercial and we'll be right back. We don't, hot topic, right? We go, what do we want to talk about on the hot topic?
Do we have a hot topic?
Not really.
Not
I gotta
really?
think, what's
What's coming up?
what's coming up?
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
And we're back, and we've just made an executive decision here regarding our hot topic. We're going to talk about the security of our phone and our computers. And what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, I just had an IRS audit, and it was for 2010 and 2012. And so what I did to go back through my records, I went to Google, because I use Google for my email, and I was able to pull up every email I ever got, saved or trashed, in 2010 and 2012 to prove what I had written off on my income tax. So all that information, every email you take, is still saved.
Damn, they didn't
Yeah.
dump it?
No,
Wow.
it's not dumped. It's there.
It's there. I think it's there into eternity.
I think so too.
Well, I tell you, I got audited for 2011. And I got audited, and the only reason why we could figure out why we got audited is I made a political contribution via my credit card. And that's interesting.
That is interesting.
You know, it's the only thing, because everything was, we've done everything alike every year. I mean, because we have everything, because we're so transparent. There's nothing there's no way to hide anything.
no,
you
there
know.
isn't anything there isn't
And-
any way to hide anything.
And that's the only thing we could think of is that somehow they tracked it because the computer or through the political person that and it was a Tea Party person, and we got dinged on and we got audited. Finally, we got a letter saying, "Oh, you don't owe us anything," because we fought it, obviously, know.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the only reason we could figure out why we got singled out, But yes, telephones, cell phones, not
cell phones.
hardline,
Right.
but cell phones are transmitted through radio waves. They're easily intercepted.
Sure.
And I remember years ago when cell phones first came out, my radio in my car picked up the car next to us. So they were on the cell phone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
can
it just
hear the
happened to be the
information.
right megahertz,
Yeah,
and it was picked up on I
Frequency.
think it was on an AM station.
Old party
So-
line.
Yeah, I know. I'm going, oh yes, listen.
All things come back around, right?
Well, yeah, I think about all the stupid things that I did as a kid, and thank God there was no internet. And I do not do social media. I do not post on Facebook. I don't text. I don't Twitter. I don't do any of that because it can all come back and haunt you.
Yeah, I don't do any of that either because I just feel like you're not that I'm going to do anything that anybody's going to care about, but I think you're vulnerable. The more you put yourself on the internet in any way, shape, or form, the more vulnerable you are to them coming in and auditing things, changing things. When we went to LA not too long ago and with our son and daughter-in-law, and we took this CD book, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it might have been Jeffrey Archer, and it was all about somebody getting hacked, and the credit was ruined. All of this stuff, and it was such an innovative way of doing it, and we all just sat there and went, this is scary. And we all were sitting there saying, we'll never use our cell phones again.
I remember when cell phones first came out, there was people were getting their phone numbers cloned and to be used where people were getting them to make long distance phone calls, and they would stand on the overpasses over the freeways down in Los Angeles, and they had a device and they were constantly scanning, and the the numbers were coming up.
Right.
And then they would use those numbers to make these outrageous, long distance phone calls, and that person was getting, and the next thing you know, you're getting a telephone call to the fraud unit. And so those criminals out there are so sophisticated.
Oh yes.
Well,
yes, they are.
and
I'm lucky I
Yeah.
can turn on a computer, and they're so sophisticated. They can hack into a phone. That's why they say don't do your banking on your cell phones,
Right.
especially your smartphone.
Right.
Well, the other thing is it was very interesting. So when the four of us had stopped listening to the book, and it was talking about what happens and like when you use your computer. And my daughter-in-law said, I know, and it's happened to me. I will look up something online, like I want to shop for when we were doing the remodeling, like I want to look at faucets or sinks or whatever. And she said, and she would be online, and she, might be looking for certain kind of dresses or something, or clothes or whatever. And she said, have you noticed that all of a
the
sudden
ads.
you
the
can
ads.
come,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
you can then turn on your computer, and all of these things will come up other sites.
Well, yeah.
And it's called flowers. And my son-in-law,
what-
son said, yeah, it's called a flower, and that all of a sudden the computer reads that you are interested in this, so you are deluged with other sites that have what you're looking for, and you never Googled or
No. Yeah.
requested any of those sites to come on.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing, and the book was just, I mean, we came home and your credit card, not only do they,
Come into a break.
going break.
We're going to a break. Gee, this is too interesting.
A spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
And we're back, and I'd like to give you some numbers. You can call us at 223-4877, or fax us at 223-4866, or email us at bookme@tspntv.com. You can watch us live streaming, or you can even pick us up on the YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. And I want to say a hi to Susie and Martha. And Martha, I'm so sorry I heard about that, and I grieve with you. But any parting? This thing with the computers I think we should have done the whole show on that. It's just scary. I mean,
I got an email today from somebody who had deceased 3 years ago.
hello.
So obviously I know that person didn't send me an email.
We don't know. We don't know.
So we know God believes in the internet.
Yeah, God, please.
But who's the server?
Oh my!
Is that the universal server?
Well, no.
It's not Google. Maybe
We
it
don't
is.
know. That's right. They got those big things out there. We never did find out what those huge big things on the
Oh,
barges.
that's a barge. That's right. What's in that barge?
Yes.
Oh.
It is.
I think maybe we should buy some Google stock.
Bye.